Tomorrow's nothing but mediations, right?
No, tomorrow night. Wednesday.
Oh, that's right, Wednesday.
Wednesday, you have any morning in the afternoon. Who we waiting on the answer? All right, thanks. Probably. Tell me in your order. All right, go back.
I should have been here a long time. I got a text message from him.
Hit traffic 15 minutes ago. He said that 10 minutes ago.
You know how many of those we get? We get those every day. We don't even believe them anymore.
Yeah, well,
I'm gonna go talk to Joe. He's gonna want to talk to me, and I don't want to joke. Everybody's gonna want to talk. Should I let him? Sure.
Right, because.
Yeah, no offense to you, prosecutor, but we get those all the time.
oh yeah, no, I know. That's why you gotta leave with enough time to.
I agree.
Hit traffic.
I mean, it's, I'm out at Waterloo, so for me, it's basically like a trip to the airport, you know, you
Yeah, yeah.
have to kind of think of it that way.
Yeah, and then right now you have to put in people's lunches. Everybody's running around right now for lunch. See if it has a few more minutes for that, because now it's a little busier than it, like, it's not o'clock.
Right.
This is very good. No, he says no, they're coming right into.
When you're some day 30.
Yeah, the prosecutor did it 45 minutes already, so I'm gonna.
I actually like the 12 o'clock time. The 12:30 docket.
Yeah. So you rather afternoons?
Early afternoon,
Yes.
because it gives you enough time to do what you need to do first thing in the morning. But then
You still have time in the afternoon.
you still have time in the afternoon, right?
Yeah.
And you have time to give yourself some flexibility and get in here and stuff.
Are you gonna be showing video?
No, there's one audio call that last time I just put the microphone to the laptop and you could hear it clearly.
Yep, you know, council.
This might be an idiot. Picture album of that was the energy board. With a few, sometimes they protecting purposes.
Oh, yes, thank you.
Where this is at, it's some kind of, somewhere around me, she knows spooky as others.
Oh,
Just a little bit over the top. So it's they don't tell you where it's at.
but they know that it is in Reynolds?
Yeah, she don't, because it's the official,
Oh, she wanted.
yeah, but they don't tell well. See,
Some people really get into it. I don't know what her house smells like for Christmas unless she's just a Halloween.
you see, it's all right. You're asking me how it's where? Provision. I don't believe these guys.
What did the kids go out? And it's for treating.
Field was marching from Paw Patrol,
Okay,
and Evelyn was apprentice.
nice. Now, where did they trick or treat at? In that Huron?
They just hit my mom's condo.
Oh, yes, you said
Yeah.
all the kids and everybody were going over there. Nice.
Grandpa built a toy.
Aw.
Cute.
Mhm.
Stevie put this up. Newest employee at Major League Lawns.
Oh my
He
God.
said, it says, the post says training starts in the spring.
That floor is huge. Like the floor. I know last year he did my friend's house, which it was just, we happened to talk and she was telling me about it and then I was saying, yeah, I know somebody that does it and I found out he was the one that did it.
Yeah, he's still doing
Nice. And is he doing it? 'Cause I know you guys had talked about it, where he's storing the stuff, or so he is,
He'll give them the option, I'll store them for you and bring it back next year, or.
and where's he storing them in your apartment? No,
I think he's just stacking up in his garage, but I'm not sure.
oh,
Oh, I keep forgetting to order it though. Cause what I'm gonna put in. I'd like to buy the screens that you just clip on the gutter and then the screen just but get better than nothing. So I'm putting hard ones in the roof job. I don't know. Make. So I told Steve, I want $1,000 to put them up. I can buy them for $1,000. I said, you put them on. He said, no, okay.
and you haven't done it yet.
Yeah. Because I can see how easy it is because I think that'd be a great service to offer people. Hey, I was putting the lights up and your gutters are full of stuff. I can put gutter guards on for $700.
No, that very much.
All right.
Guess we needed to schedule it at noon. For him to get here at 12:30.
And they have to know it was a special scheduled event, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
they did, yeah.
They
Yeah,
know
because-
Wednesdays is our. Day.
Yep. Well, and Mr. Lawrence told them that, I'm on my way in 15 minutes out, but that was. Oh, you can use one. It was a big, Halloween costume this year, the blow ups, like, have you ever seen like the people that are like in a blow up, like a dinosaur and they're walking and it looks like this dinosaur?
Oh, yeah.
That was a big thing this year, like, they had Paw Patrol, they had a chicken, they had, cause my cousin goes, why is the chicken crossing the road? Cause this little boy's walking across the street. It was so cute, but by the end of the night, they all came back deflated. So I guess it only works, so, the mom said it was too hot in there,
Oh, yeah.
so, but yeah, but that was a big thing, sure, like one whole group
I don't
of
think I've ever seen a
football
kid.
kids were all just in these blow up costumes.
I told you guys, like showcasing all the Halloweens, the Trump
Mhm.
Halloweens, their costumes. One kid dressed as Trump, banded on his ear, right? One was dressed in fatigues with a toy gun, and then like, oh god, they were all boys, like 12 of them, dark sunglasses,
Oh,
suits.
my gosh, that's a cute one.
Well, see, they're making fun of this guy because it's so unsafe. I think it's genius. He's attached a step ladder.
Yes, oh, wow. Yeah,
And as long as the two ladders can't come apart, it's pretty freaking safe. Once it wobbles side to side. I want to be smart.
that is nice, actually.
I sent the test to my wife this weekend. She never commented. Kind of like the suits.
Oh, my gosh,
Probably she only wear it once or twice a year.
right, so you're wasting,
Well, talk about blow up costumes.
Yeah, and my cousin said that she's seen one kind of like that.
Walking the
See,
dog.
Yeah, but see how it's all blow up or whatever? That's what a lot of the costumes were this year.
This is fun.
No. Oh my gosh.
I want this tuxedo.
I kind of like that one.
I mean, if you went to a fall Christmas party every year, that makes sense.
Crystal Medina's. Well, no, that's not it's not a Christmas. Is it a Christmas party or just?
It's Christmas time. I told. Yeah, when they get here, they don't get time to talk to kids in there. And great stuff.
Yeah.
Me, started wearing it out. Eyes swollen, nose red, can't see anyone. Going, well, you hurt me with this again. Trying. It was a sin. You did once. Let's go with this sweater too.
Oh, that one is, yeah. That must be the same brand that the bridge was, because it has the same
Collar thing.
collar and, yeah.
I don't know if it is or not. Didn't show it. I need some new sweaters. Thank you.
Oh, that is pretty healthy.
Think it was a bake.
Well, those, strawberries.
Strawberry banana candy.
I went to, breakfast this past weekend with my aunt. And, my sister likes to go to Plato's. Plato's there's one. Yeah, Michigan and Lily. And then there's the one that sister always go to is at Ford in the middle.
Okay.
And, there's three of her sons, they work there, and learn to.
Like a calling elephant.
Yeah, yeah. And, my aunt asked for crispy bacon. She was so, it just like,
Crumbled.
yes, it's like, they gave it to all for crispy.
Well. Even got our house on the side.
Oh,
That would nice. Probably even has a barn out now.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, are you? I'm good. I'm over here just hanging out for a minute.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
You see what happens when you unlock the front door?
yeah. It's Eric, you just spoke today, huh?
What's going on?
What's going on?
You're all right?
You're as good as a, oh, well, don't tell them that. I'm feeling okay. I mean, we'll see how it goes. I looked in the massage today.
Good for you.
I'm dropping things off.
Good.
Ordering donuts and, really good whole week. Yeah,
You never like going through the roof.
well, it's for about 5,000 on the videos and the verbal are like, you guys have an house and before you know the door. I'm going to the gate and we do street. I'm thinking it's like, so then I've been to the. Oh, it's about the same again.
Finally get people interested.
Sure.
I'm thinking about tomorrow.
Hey, Victoria.
Hmm? Yeah, mannerisms.
Yeah.
Absolutely, you know, they're gonna be out there until like volume.
Have a seat, folks. Let's bring them in, fellas. Gentlemen, your appearances on the People versus Hackney.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. William Lawrence, P70481 for the people. And good afternoon, Your Honor, to your staff. And please, the Honorable Court, Mohammed Daftar, 74485.
He's all right. You're all right. He's all right, Mr. Nassar. He's all right.
Does we state your point for the record?
Thank you. We ready, fellas?
Yes, we are, Your Honor. We asked for a mutual sequestration order. There's a lot of people in the courtroom, but it's family, going both ways.
All right, Mr. Nassar. All right, look around, fellows. Anybody in the room that shouldn't be?
No, not my judge.
We're satisfied? Let's call a witness.
Our first witness, and I believe our only witness for this examination, is Nicholas Norowski. We'll have 3 exhibits and a witness.
Mr. Lawrence, is it Morowski?
With an N,
Norowski.
like NERWSAI.
Gotcha. Thank you. Got that, Heather?
Yeah.
Sir, come on up front, please, all the way up. Would you raise your right hand for me? Swear or affirm, tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
Watch your stuff on that ramp. Sit in that chair. Make yourself comfortable. When you're comfortable, state your full name for me.
Nicholas Michael Norowski.
Thank you, sir. Your witness, Mr. Lawrence.
All right, thank you, Judge. Good afternoon, Mr. Norowski. Mr. Norowski, are you familiar with the street Hanover Place in Romulus, Michigan? Yes, sir. And how are you familiar with that street? I lived there for a couple of years. And were you living there back in 2021? Yes, sir. Did you live in a particular house on that street? 14137 House. Did you know an individual named Alex Hackney? Yes, sir. And how did you know Alex? Who's my neighbor? And where was his house in relationship to your house on Conover Place? If you're looking at the road from my house, it'd be on the right. So he's your next door neighbor? Yes, sir. And if you're standing on your porch, is he your neighbor, next door neighbor on your right or your left? Looking onto the road, yeah. Okay. All right. On April 21st, 2021, were you home that day? Yes, sir. Had you been doing anything that day? I was working when I got home from work that day. Approximately what time did you get home that day? Around lunchtime. And who was staying at your house at this time? My fiance and my son. So the three of you were living in the house? Was your fiance and your son home on April 21st, 2021 when you got off work around lunchtime? Yes, sir. And how old was your son at that time? 3. All right, 3 or 4 years old? 3 years ago? Yeah. When did you, when you got home from work, did you enter into your house? Yes, sir. Once inside your house, was there anything that got your attention? A loud banging noise. Yeah, and could you tell where that loud banging noise was coming from? Yeah, next door. And when you say next door, whose house? Alice's house. And upon hearing that noise, what did you do? I went to my window. What window are we talking about? My bedroom window. And where in your house is that bedroom and that bedroom window? Right next to the house, right next to the house. Is it toward, so it's on Alex's side? Yeah. Is it toward the front or the back of your house? The front. And which direction does the window you were looking at face? The street. Can you see Alex's house? Yeah, the front of the house. Can you see Alex? Does Alex have a front yard? Yep. Could you see that front yard? Yes. Does Alex have a driveway? Yes. Could you see the driveway? Yes. And you said you could also see the street. Yes. Could you see the back of Alex's house from that window? Okay. Does Alex have, did he have a garage? Yes. And could you see that garage from that vantage point at your bedroom window? No. Okay. All right, so upon going to your window, what, if anything, did you see? I seen Alex grabbing Devin out of the car. Can you describe this car? But it was a Istra.
Louder. It was a what? Louder. Thank you.
And you said that you saw Alex grabbing Devin out of the car? Yes. What side of the car was he grabbing Devin from? The driver's side. And where is this car parked? Roughly closer to the road than it was pulled out in the driveway. In the driveway, closer to the road than the house? Do you hear anything? Arguing. And is it one individual or both of them arguing? Both of them. Was their voices raised? Yes. At this time, do you see any additional physical contact between Alex or his son Devin? No, sir. And where is this argument taking place? Right next to the dog. In the front yard area? Yes. Was there anybody else that you saw that was involved, or just Alex and Devin? Just Alex. Did you could you see into the vehicle that was parked, the car? Yes. Was there anybody else inside that car? Not really. Was there any other vehicles parked in this driveway? That was the truck, I believe. And do you know where in the driveway that truck was parked? Pulled up north, like next to the side of the house. Closer to the garage than the street? Yes. Does the argument continue? Yes. Do you ever leave this window, this bedroom area, bedroom window that you're looking out and observing all of this from? For a second to tell my fiance what was going on. And then after, did you tell her what was going on? Yes, sir. And did you return to the window? Yes. Okay. All right, when you return to the window, what do you see next? They continued to argue for a little while, and then they ended up splitting up. Alex walked down the road, Devin went inside. Okay, you said Devin went inside. Where, inside what? The house. And do you know, was Devin living there at that time? Wasn't entirely sure. I didn't see him very much there. You understood this to be Alex's house, Devin's father? Yes. That's your next door neighbor? Yes. Okay, so you said Devin went into the house, and where did Alex go? He walked into the park down, and he walked to the end of the street and stood there. And you observed him during this time? Yes. After a couple minutes, what do you see Alex do next? He walked back to the house and walked to the back of the house. Was Alex saying anything at that time? Not when he was walking to the back. When he got to the back of his house, could you still see him from your bedroom window? No. But could you hear him at that time? Yes, sir. Could you ever hear, did you hear Devin, at that time? Yes, sir. And could you tell if Devin's voice was outside or inside his house? It sounded like it was outside. It was pretty. Did it sound like it was in the same area that Alex was? Yes. And you could hear Alex's voice as well? Yes, sir. Could you hear what they were saying? Parts. Would you consider, you've testified that they've been arguing, was it still an argument? Yeah, I would say so. What's that? I would say so, yes. Both people talking? Yes, sir. Back and forth? Yes, sir. Okay. What happens next? They started talking, they're arguing about their life. Question, I guess. So they're arguing in the backyard, or toward the back of the house anyways. Does there come a point in time where you see them? Yeah, after the argument, like they're decided a little bit, and they walk back towards the front of the house. Okay, can you specifically tell Judge Oakley what you mean by they then walk back to the front of the house? Like who walks? Are they walking together or? Devin's walking backwards towards the front of the road, and Alex is walking facing him. Are they close to each other? Yes. Are they running at all? No. Do you see, do either of them have their hands raised? Not when they were walking back. Did you, how would you describe Alex as he's walking to the judge? Pretty calm demeanor at first. As it was going in. What about Devin? Was he? How would you describe his demeanor as he's walking? They're both pretty calm walking as they were towards the road. Did you see at this time any weapon in Alex's hands, first of all? No. Did you see any weapon on Devin at this time? I did not see it until he produced the guns. So as they're walking up the driveway toward the street, and you're able to see them clearly at your window now. And do you see a weapon in any kind of weapon on the person of Alex head? No. Do you hear any threats of any kind at that time? No. All right, so what happens next?
It stopped right about midpoint, using the shark in the car, and Devin produced a pistol and pointed at it. And at that point, I ran to the front of the house and out my door, and that's when I seen him shooting 3 times.
And where was Devin's dad, Alex, when Devin shot him 3 times?
I was standing right in front of him.
And when you say that you saw the actual shooting from your front porch, first of all, can you describe the front porch to the court?
It's an open porch. There was no canopy or anything.
And so if you're looking at the area where Alex and Devin were, and you're on your porch, which direction are you looking? And how long would you say it took you to get from your bedroom window to the front porch?
5 seconds.
And so the actual shooting you saw from the front porch.
Yeah.
How close were you to Devin and Alex when you saw Devin shoot Alex?
Roughly 10 feet, 15 feet.
And was there anything obscuring your view at all?
No,
At the time of the shooting, did you, before or upon getting shot, did you hear Alex say anything?
not when they were up towards the front of the house.
When's the last time you had heard him say something?
They were in the back,
At the time of the shooting, did you hear Devin say anything?
not at the time of the shooting,
When's the last time you had heard him say something?
towards the back of the house.
When Alex was shot, you said 3 times, did he fall to the ground?
Yes, sir.
How did he fall to the ground?
Just straight back.
And he landed on his back?
Yep.
What did you do at that exact moment?
When I seen shooting,
Yeah,
I ran inside the hallway to call my fiance to call the house.
and, what did you do after you told your fiance to call the cops?
I ran over to Alice's body.
Did you see Devin outside?
Right after, right before, remember as we were doing the shooting, then he went inside.
Did you see Devin approach his dad?
Yeah, he stood over him and gave him a grin,
What do you mean by grin?
just a.
And when you say stood over him, stood over what part of his dad?
His head.
And when did you see that? Was that before or after you ran into the house to tell your wife to call 911?
Before.
And so you see that, then you went into the house,
Yes.
then you said you went back outside,
Yeah, so the shot on the house.
and how would you did you go over to his body?
Yeah.
Was there anybody else outside at that time?
There was a car driving coming out the road.
But as far as at the body of Alex, was there anybody besides you? And you said Devin had gone inside?
Yes.
Was Alex still alive when you were there?
Yeah, his eyes were.
You mentioned a car coming down the road. Did you do anything in relationship with that vehicle?
Just yelled at them to call the house as well, and pretty sure she gave me her phone at that time. After phone.
Did you have your cell phone on you?
I didn't.
And why was that?
It was shocking.
Did police respond to the scene?
Yes,
About how long did it take following the shooting the police to get there?
roughly 5 minutes.
Did you see the police arrive?
Yes,
And where were you at when you saw the police arrive?
I was standing in front of her.
And did you see Devin come out of the house?
Yes,
Did he have anything with him?
his cell phone.
And what happened when he came out of the house?
The cops told him to get down, he got down. Yeah, put in cuffs.
Did the police officer speak with you at the scene?
Yes, sir.
Did you also go to the police station for a report?
Yes, sir.
Did you have any cameras, any surveillance cameras at your house?
No, sir.
At any point in time during any of this, did you see Alex throw a punch at Devin?
I did not.
Other than when they got out of the car, did you see any physicality between Alex and Devin? Any laying of the hands on each other?
Not like all besides pulling him out of the car, trying to pull him out of the car.
About how long are we talking from their arrival? So you hear like a noise and that gets your attention. From Alex and Devin's arrival and through the shooting, how long was that about?
15 minutes.
Do you see Devin Hackney in the courtroom today?
Yes, sir.
Or can you just point to him and describe what he's wearing?
Thank you for the stipulation.
One more. Oh, did Alex appear intoxicated? Do you see any evidence of intoxication?
Judge, I would ask for foundation, he's not an expert in sobriety or anything else.
Response, Mr. Lawrence.
That's fine, Judge. All right, and while you were over the body of Alex and you said I think you still saw some eye movement. Again, was there a weapon of any kind with him?
Objection, asked and answered, Judge.
Any response? No response? Mr. Lawrence?
I think I had asked that before, Judge. Judge, I don't have any further questions for Mr. Morowski. I'll turn it over for cross.
Thank you. Cross, Mr. Nasser.
Please, court.
Come on up.
Mr. Ronsky, how you doing today? Good, how about you, sir? Very well, sir. Mr. Ronsky, I'm gonna ask you some questions. If you don't understand, please let me know and I'll try to rephrase it in a way that you can understand. Is that fair?
Yes,
Sometimes I talk a little bit fast. If I talk fast, please let me know, right? Now, Mr. Ronsky, you've had the opportunity to testify previously in this particular matter, correct?
yes, sir.
And when you were testifying previously, you were being truthful and honest, obviously as you are today, correct?
Yes, sir.
You've had the opportunity to provide multiple statements to the police, agreed?
Once again,
Yeah, you've provided a statement at the scene, correct?
yes, sir.
You provided a statement at the actual police department, correct?
Yeah,
When you went down to the Romulus Police Department, you met with them and you offered a statement, correct?
yes, sir.
And at some period of time, you spoke to an investigator, agreed?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and you've offered various different statements. Is that a fair statement?
Wait, sir.
You've offered at least 3 statements, agreed?
Yeah,
Okay,
got
including social media posts that you have, right?
one social media, I'll say it.
Ultimately, you took that social media post down, right?
I don't say it's good.
Okay, who asked you to do it?
Honestly, I don't remember, probably someone could do it.
Okay, that's fair. All right, so let's start with this. It's April 21st, 2021, right?
Yes, sir.
You testified to the questioning of the fine prosecutor that at some period of time around 11:30 or so, you arrived home, right?
Lunchtime.
Lunchtime, you arrived home, right? So you came home early.
Yes, sir.
Okay, upon entering your house, you went upstairs, right?
Upstairs.
I'm sorry, upon entering your house, did you eventually, I'm sorry?
I didn't have it.
Oh, my apologies. So you entered into the living room or bedroom or whatever it is.
Okay.
Okay, and you are there with your minor child and your fiance, correct? All right, now, as you said, you're in your bedroom when you hear some type of fracas or commotion, correct?
Yes,
Now, the bedroom to this house is a window that faces forward, correct?
yes, sir.
Are there windows to the side of your house that also view to Mr. Hackney's home?
We had a big bay window in the living room.
Okay, but you weren't in the living room, you're in the bedroom, right? So there's a front window that looks straight forward to the street, correct?
Yes.
There's not side windows that are appearing at this particular house, correct? If you are looking at the house, you are looking to the right or left. If you're looking at Mr. Hackney's house outside of this window, in order to view Mr. Hackney's house, are you looking to the right or to the
Looking
left?
at both of our houses.
If you're inside, you said you
Inside, yeah, looking out to the road.
Yes. to the right.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're looking to the right, that means if you're looking at people that are standing in, so you said that Devin Hackney was backing up himself, correct?
Yes, sir.
So that means you are looking, if you're looking to your right, that means you're looking at his left, correct? Devin Hackney's left,
Yeah,
Right.
or just, be looking at the right side of his body as well.
okay? And at some period of time, it's your testimony here today that you heard a loud bang, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and when you look out, was your window open or closed at this time?
It was close, but I opened it up immediately.
Okay, because you heard a loud bang, and you were, is that correct?
Yeah.
And you were curious as to what was going on, right? You can't testify as to when these two individuals arrived, because you only hear a bang, which brings your attention to these two individuals, right?
What is your question?
Here's the question, you got home, right?
Yeah.
You didn't see, Devin Hackney or his father, Alex Hackney, at the time when you arrived, correct?
I honestly don't know.
Okay,
There before, so I didn't really.
You don't remember?
Right.
so, sorry, forgive me, so did you see them or not?
Yeah.
I thought it was the thing that brought your attention to them.
I guess I'm not understanding.
Okay. You're in the bedroom.
Right.
Your testimony here today is you hear about that, right? Which brings your attention to Alex Hackney and who you know to be his son,
Yeah.
Devin Hackney, correct? You arrived home around 11:30. Correct?
Right.
You didn't see, and nor does any of your statements indicate that you saw these individuals upon arrival, correct?
I mean, like I said, I would be driving down the road, you don't really notice everything.
Okay, so it's fair to say you didn't see them upon arrival. It's something that brought your attention to that, right?
That more out of the car.
Okay, but you said you heard a bang.
Right.
Okay, so you hear a bang. Is that bang associated with somebody driving up the road?
I don't know.
Okay,
I heard a bang come from my neighbors,
okay. And you looked out your window to the left, right?
so the right.
You looked out to your right from inside of the bedroom, from inside of the bedroom. So you look out to your right,
That's right.
and that's when you see them. You see them standing at the car, but you don't know when that vehicle arrived, do you?
Guess not.
Okay, that's fair. So what you do see is Alex Hackney grabbing Devin out of the vehicle, correct?
Not hitting, yeah, he was trying to pull him out of the car, yeah.
Okay, there's nothing trying. You saw him pulling him out of the car, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you see that and you hear elevated voices, right?
Yes.
So certainly it's not a pleasant conversation, agreed? You are at a window, your house is what, 15 feet away? Is that a fair statement?
Yeah.
So 15 feet away from a window inside of a house, you're able to hear a loud bang and you're able to hear people arguing and a father pulling his son out of the vehicle, right?
Yes.
Okay. You testified you don't know whether or not this young man, Devin Hackney, resides at this home. Is that a fair statement?
That's what I said.
But you've seen him there before, agreed?
Yes.
Okay. However, you have known Alex Hackney for an extended period of time, right? He's a, is
That a yes?
that yes? Is he a friend of yours?
I wouldn't consider him a friend, he's more of just a neighbor.
But you
We
testified.
can go out and have drinks together, if that's what you're asking.
Understood, but you testified at the preliminary examination previously when you said that he's done a lot of things for you. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Okay.
As a neighbor would.
Okay.
Again, I wouldn't consider him a friend, I guess. Friends go out and do stuff together.
That's fair. So, but you did know Alex Hackney to be trained in martial arts. Did you know that?
I didn't.
Okay, when you saw, how many times had you had any face-to-face interaction? When I say face-to-face interaction, you and him in close proximity talking to one another. How many times had that happened prior to this incident?
Handful of times.
Handful of times. And when you saw Alex Hackney, did you see him with a hand knife or pocket knife?
Alex? No.
Yes. You never did?
No.
Okay. And you're sure about that? Okay,
I mean, every grown man, for the most part, carries a pocket knife on him.
really? Do you carry a pocket knife?
I do, I work it also. I always have my pocket knife on me, because sometimes I don't put it in my bag. Got another one extra in my car, so.
Right. Then it's a form of protection, something that can be used, right?
Protection, but one of the wood if you want, whatever.
Okay, so it's a common thing to carry a pocket knife in this area, right?
Most strong in here.
Okay, that's great. Okay, so let's talk about this particular incident. You hear, it's not hear, you not only hear, but you see Alex pull Devin out of the car, right? Is that right? at that period of time, there's argument back and forth, right?
Yes,
Okay. And predicated upon this particular argument, you continue to observe what's going on, right?
yes,
You are concerned that possibly something could happen because people are yelling, right?
yes,
And it's loud enough for it to be heard at your house,
yeah,
correct? Okay, so it's your testimony that an argument ensues for a period of time, yes?
yes, sir.
And at that period, following this argument, ultimately, my client, Devin, goes into the house
Yes, sir.
and you see, Mr. Hackney, Alex Hackney, walk off the driveway and walk towards the park, right?
Yes.
Okay, do you remember testifying about, okay, how long, scratch that, how long does he walk towards the park?
It's roughly a couple of minutes.
Okay. And then at some period of time, he returns, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and when he returns, you see him walk up the driveway,
Yes, sir.
and you hear a loud yelling from Mr. Alex Hackney outside of the house, right?
When they were back, I didn't notice, I didn't see him shouting.
But you heard it,
Yes,
and you heard Alex Hackney's voice, right?
yes, sir.
You've talked to him enough to know his voice, agree?
Yes, sir.
Devin Hackney is somebody you don't know very well, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So when they're in the back, what you hear is this. And what you told the police officer was, this is all I have right now. I have nothing in life. Forgive me, Judge, fuck this. I took care of you. I gave you 3 cars. I've given you everything. Your mom has never done anything for you. Then Devin kept saying, no dad, no dad, no dad. Nicholas then heard Alex saying repeatedly, if you're a big man, do it. If you're a big man, do it. Did you tell that to the police?
Yes, sir.
You heard that in the block.
Yeah,
Okay, so obviously that is not just a civil conversation of somebody saying hi, bye, whatever it is, correct? You infer that to be an aggressive conversation. You're a big man, do it, right?
Yeah.
That's not something you say to your son if you're saying, hey buddy, let's go get a drink, right? Okay, so that gave you heightened alert that something could happen, right? And you would agree that this particular conversation is taking place out of your purview. You can't see it, but you can hear it,
right.
right? Right?
Right.
Okay, so you don't know if there's any weapons shown, you don't know if there's anything else, you don't know anything because you can just hear, right?
Right.
And you're hearing his dad say, and when I say his dad, Alex, if you're a big man, do it. You hear that, right?
Right.
You also hear him say, I've given you everything, right?
Right.
Okay, so then the next thing you see is Devin Hackney backing away from this area that you can't see, right?
Right.
And you see Alex Hackney walking towards him, correct?
Right.
Okay, and so you can interpret that, or you did interpret it as somebody backing away and retreating. Is that a fair statement?
Right.
Okay, and you see the person who's following or coming towards his direction as someone, well, scratch that. Alex is following Devin. He's walking towards him as Devin is walking backwards, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then it's your testimony here today that you didn't hear any other conversation, right?
Right.
Okay, at some period of time, you see a gun that's drawn. Is that fair?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and when you see the gun that's drawn, again, you're looking to your right, right? All right, so you're looking to the right, you see someone with their right hand then, right?
Right.
And you see Devin holding the gun with his right hand or the left, or do you recall?
To the left.
The left, okay. He's holding it with the left, and then when you see this, you say something to your fiance, wife, maybe now, but you say something to your fiance, correct? Michelle, is it, or?
Megan.
Megan, my apologies. You say something to Megan, and you tell her there's some shit going down, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so then you run from this particular location to the outside or to the porch of your home, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and you estimate that takes about 5 seconds. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Because you ran quick, it's not the biggest house, whatever. But that's your best estimate, right? Could have been 7 seconds, right? Could have been 10 seconds.
No more than 10 seconds.
No more than 10 seconds, fair. So there's a period of time that you don't hear anything being said between Devin and his dad, right?
For that 10 seconds.
For that 10 seconds, you don't know what was said, right? So you can't testify to what was said or what was done during the 5 to 10 second period of time. Agree? Okay, and at that period of time, it's your testimony that you see my client, Devin Hackney, take his gun and shoot. Agree? Okay, and he fires how many shots?
3 or 1. what I believe.
And you're saying the proximity between, Judge, man, I apologize. The proximity between Devin and his father is, okay, so can we agree this is about 4 feet?
Yeah.
3 feet, 4 feet? Forgive me, I don't mean to intrude on your space. So they're very close to one another, right? Okay, close enough for Alex Hackney to grab his son, correct?
Yeah.
Close enough to grab him that he, like he had done when he pulled him out of the car, correct? Okay, and then you hear boom, 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 3 shots.
Yes.
It's your testimony at that period of time, you run back to your house to tell your fiance, Megan.
I just run back, I just turned around and back inside.
Was Megan outside of the house at the time?
No, she was, and she had taken Cassie into the kitchen because she didn't know what was going on.
Okay. And it's your testimony here today, at that period of time, Devin then proceeds into the house, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and you watch this?
Yes.
Okay, and there's a passerby that comes by and, you know, you take their phone, so there's at least 2 people that are calling 911, right?
Yes.
You don't know what's going on in Devin's house, because he was, when Devin entered his house, did he open the door? He clearly opened the door, right? Did he close the door behind him?
That I don't.
You're not paying attention?
Yeah.
Okay, because you're shocked, you haven't seen somebody shot before, have you? Okay, you're seeing this live in front of you, within feet of yourself, correct? Okay, and then you yourself spoke to the 911 operator through the phone of the driver by, right?
Yes.
Okay, and it said that the fine police department, EMS, whatever have you, arrived within 5 minutes, quick, right? And at some period of time, you also saw Alex Hackney's eyes moving, correct?
Yes.
Were you trying to talk to her?
Right after we went inside, I ran in there. Or we're going to told Megan to call the police again, and then ran over there to try to see what was going on with Alex.
And at that period of time, your primary focus is just looking at Alex, correct?
Yes.
Until the police arrive. At some period of time, the police take over and remove is a strong term, ask you to remove yourself from the scene, agreed? You also testify that you saw my client be coming out of the house, correct?
Yes.
And at that time, he had a phone in his hand, correct? And the police are yelling at him to, get down on the ground and do whatever happened, correct?
Yes.
And from what you saw, he certainly complied with what they were saying, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
From my knowledge, that's what I found out, see when they called the cops and stuff as well.
Okay, that's fair. Certainly, when this is happening, you're very close, right? Is that right?
Yes.
So when, when Devin is coming out of the house, how close are you to him when he's coming out?
At that moment, I'm standing about like midway in my grass. He's on their porch, so probably, 20 feet.
As far as I am to you?
No, I would not say that's 20 feet.
Further or closer?
Yeah, for probably.
Pick a point in the courtroom where the officers are at.
Okay,
Note for the record, from my bench to the back wall is 38 feet.
38, okay, so some distance, correct?
Yeah.
Did you see that Devin's nose was bleeding?
I did not,
Okay, did you notice that he was scratched all over himself?
did not.
Okay. You testified that this entire incident took about 15 minutes from when you first hear the first bang until you see the shooting, correct?
Yes.
Okay. You do remember making a statement to the police on 4/21/2021, which was the date of the incident, correct?
Yes, sir.
You do recall stating that they argued for about 20 minutes back and forth, and then I walked out my front door to look at Alex's son was pointing a pistol at him, right? So, 15, 20 minutes, it's hard to say because it was happened so quick, correct? When you heard the yelling in the back, did you advise Megan of, what you heard?
I didn't tell her like what was being said, but I told her that they were arguing out there.
They're arguing in the back, and you told her because you thought it was something that was significant, right?
Yeah.
And again, this is something that's out of your purview, brief, just what you hear.
Yes.
Right, one moment. Now, previously when you testified, and when I say previously, the previous preliminary examination, you testified that you smoked weed, correct?
Yes.
Okay, we have medical marijuana card or whatever it is. Not that that's necessary, I can scratch that. Okay, on this particular day, were you smoking weed?
No, I was not.
Okay, and you smoked weed the night before?
I can't tell that I recall that.
Okay. Did you have an opportunity? No, scratch that, one more.
Alright, so.
No further questions.
Redirect.
Very good, Judge. Uh, Mr. Urowski, when you were interviewed by the police, do you recall creating a little sketch as part of your interview?
Yeah. I'm so sorry, Mr. Barnes, we stipulated the function.
Okay,
Does that help?
it's exhibit 2.
That's fine.
Let me have you have a copy of it in your honor as well. Explain the sketch to the court so the court gets a good idea as to the layout and where your bedroom window was.
Well, I probably should have gone the house like this way, or I guess it's. What are you guys?
This is, first of all, is this the sketch that you
Yes.
you drew?
Yeah.
And it depicts very, very simply where your house was, Alex's house,
Yeah.
and then where Devin and Alex were at the time of the shooting.
Right.
Okay. And so the bedroom window that you're talking about, looking out, your bedroom window,
Yes.
does it face to the street or sharply to the toward Alex's house?
Toward the street, but you could see the driveway out of it as well.
And is that because is your house set back certain, like how long is it from the street to your house? But everything that you've testified to this court about seeing out that window.
Yeah.
That's the one window in your bedroom and you're capable of seeing
Yeah.
that much, the driveway of Alex's house, the front yard of Alex's house, the front of Alex's house. Okay. All right, so exhibit 2. Now I just wanted to ask you about two final things based on cross-examination. On cross-examination, when you were being asked about the conversation that was, or the argument that was happening in the back of the house between Alex and Devin that you couldn't see but you could hear, do you recall those questions?
Yeah. Yes.
And there was a specific quote that was read to you on cross-examination, purporting to be something that you said. Alex was saying, I have nothing in life, fuck this, I took care of you, I gave you 3 cars, I've given you everything, your mom's done nothing for you. You recall this statement that you had made that was read back to you basically by defense counsel? And then it says, your mom has never done anything for you. Devin kept saying, no dad, no dad, no dad. Okay. Can you explain to the court what is in the context of which you heard it? What do you mean by no dad, no dad, no dad? Is it?
He was just referring.
But just, you're asking this individual to interpret what was said by an individual that is a decedent. At the end of the day, this court can draw its own inference from what was said. This fine witness can testify to what he heard. You can't extrapolate as to what it meant.
I mean,
Hold on.
Yeah. He said that he's not even friends with this guy.
I'm assuming that's a speculation objection. Response.
Yeah, I'm not asking this witness to say what was meant by it, but in the context of this argument that he hears, was no dad in response to a question, a series of questions? What kind of
Yeah,
questions? What was he
Okay,
answering?
hold on.
Because the way defense counsel characterized it is another way that a human being could look at that ink on paper and say, no dad, no dad, no dad. So I'm trying to distinguish that type of a.
Let's try this way.
Yeah.
Did you have any impressions after hearing that back and forth between Alex and his son?
Did I have any impression?
Impression. Did you come to any conclusions about what was being discussed?
Just their life.
Okay. And how did you interpret no, Dad?
I interpreted it as him saying no to the questions, not and frantic, no, 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 like don't hurt me or something.
Move on.
The other, quote that was brought up on cross-examination is in the back of the house, you heard Alex say, if you're a big man, do it.
Yes,
Did he say that more than once?
yes,
Do you know could you see anything at the time that you heard that?
no,
So do you have any ability to assist the court on what was going on back there at the time of if you're a big man, do it? Or you heard those words and you don't know what it was about?
I mean, in my experience, if someone says that it's.
Objection.
Hold on. When there's objection, you gotta let us talk it out.
He's not an expert, can't give an interpretation, nor is that, what is required here. He can simply testify to what he ordered, so I'd ask to strike that testimony as it relates to his interpretation.
And yours. Okay. No further redirect,
No further reason.
recross.
So let's go back to that, just for clarity's sake, and I apologize, I don't mean to. Dead horse. You hear this elevated talk, yelling in the back of this particular house, correct? It is, yes?
Yes,
It is uncontested that you can't see these particular individuals, right?
yes,
So they're at a distance far greater than the distance where you observe these particular individuals, right?
from the, yeah,
And it's clear that both of us are bad with distances, because if that's 38 feet, we thought it was 15, right?
yes,
Yeah, so let me ask you this, the driveway of the Hackney's property, is it a long driveway, short driveway?
not too long. no.
Okay, at the end of this particular driveway, there's a garage, correct?
Yes,
Okay, is there an entry to this house at the rear of this particular, on this driveway of path?
yes,
Okay, so you don't know exactly where these individuals are standing, agree?
no, sir,
You have no idea because it's only something that you hear.
right,
Could have been 20 feet, could have been 100 feet, you don't know, right?
definitely wasn't 100 feet.
Okay, there's a backyard there too, right?
Right,
Okay,
we don't have very big backyards where we live.
okay, but there is a backyard, right?
Right,
Okay, so these individuals could have been speaking at any point within the rear of this house, and you couldn't tell because you can't see them, you can't see through a house, right?
right,
Okay, so you hear this conversation, right? You hear when Alex is saying these things, you're a big man and all this other stuff. I have nothing to live for, all this other stuff. He says, fuck this. When he says that, it's not a common polite term, it's loud, right?
right,
Okay, and then you hear, no dad, no dad, no dad, no, right?
right,
It's 3 times. And upon hearing no dad, no dad, no dad, no, that's when you see Devin Hackney appear, correct?
not immediately, no.
Okay, how quick was it?
They probably argued for another minute before they started walking back, but it wasn't like you saying, no, dad, no, dad, no, walking back.
Okay, so 60 seconds, right?
Sure.
Okay, so you don't know if this individual was backing up this entire period of time.
Can I also say that?
No, no.
Answer the question. Answer the question.
Answer the question. The question is, you don't know how far Devin Hackney is backing up, correct? You do, is that a fair statement?
Yeah.
So when you do see him, he's in the reverse section, correct?
Correct.
Backing up,
Yeah.
okay. Have you been in an argument with a person before?
With
Objection.
person?
Relevance.
Okay, I'll scratch that, okay. You see an individual again backing up, right?
Correct.
And you're not hearing any conversation at this particular time when you see Devin, correct?
They weren't talking about that.
They weren't talking anymore, right? It appeared that the conversation was done, right? Okay. And then you see Devin first, right?
Right.
And then how much after you see Devin do you see Alex Hackney?
You already came close to me and I told you that they were walking like this, so.
Okay, so the entire from
Almost immediately,
Almost-
obviously, I'm gonna see Devin first, coming out of the back.
no, that's fair, that's fair. And forgive me, I just wanted some clarity. I was wondering if you got closer at some period of time. The pace appeared to be the same the entire time you saw, it, right?
Right.
No further questions, thanks.
You can step down, watch your step on the ramp. Thank you for your time.
And this witness is excused, Your Honor.
Absolutely.
Yes.
The, there's an exhibit, Judge, that we're gonna be moving to admit exhibit number 1, which is the post-mortem report.
Just we stipulate both.
Thank you. Exhibit 1 and 2 will be admitted.
Thank you, Judge. And this is just to place on the record, the post-mortem report performed on Alex Hackney on April 22nd, 2021. Cause of death, multiple gunshot wounds, manner of death, homicide. There were 3 gunshot wounds, 2 to the left chest and 1 to the left shoulder. Also, just noting for the record that the medical examiner noted, Alex Hackney to be 41 years old. His body measured 5 feet 8 inches and 171 pounds. And then finally, included in this exhibit is the toxicology. And the toxicology shows a blood alcohol concentration of 0.220 for Mr. Hackney. Court wishes of publish that. And then our third exhibit,
Thank you.
which is also stipulated to, is the 911 call placed by Devin Hackney. And so we root for that admission, and I played it this time. It's 5 minutes long.
And Judge, absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you for the stipulation. That'll be admitted as 3. Play it when you're ready. You got to get it louder than that if you want me to hear it. I can't hear this. I don't know if you're picking it up. Are you picking it up?
The voice takes up so much that it doesn't. Rewind.
Start it over now. Heather says it comes okay. Okay.
That's the end of exhibit 3. Judge, there's gonna be no further witnesses or exhibits from the people.
Defense?
Judge, yes, I think one of the whole Officer Chris Rosario. What's up?
We got him.
My apologies.
Officer up front, please. Swear affirm, tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. Watch my ramp. Settle in. State your name for the record, please.
Christopher, CHRIS, Hosier, KOZ,
Dear witness, Mr. Nasser.
Thank you. Officer Cozier, how you doing?
Good arson.
Yes, sir, I'm gonna ask you some questions. If you don't understand, please let me know. I'll try to rephrase when you can't understand it. Is that fair? Okay, you were an evidence technician on or about 4/21 of 2021, correct?
Correct.
Also, your duties took you to a specific location, right?
Correct.
You recall the address of this location?
14071, Common.
It was somewhere on Conover in the city of Lawrence, right?
Correct.
Okay, and you arrived as an evidence technician, subsequent to the actual incident, correct?
Correct.
Okay, when you arrived, was the body still present? And when I say the body of the decedent, Alex, Hackney, was he still there?
Believe he was already at the hospital.
He was already in the hospital. Okay, so your job was to collect particular evidence, right?
Correct.
And part and parcel of your training as an evidence tech and an officer is to write reports, correct?
Correct.
And when you write reports, you make sure that you articulate or memorialize the important or salient factors of any investigation, right?
Correct.
There may be, at time, some years later, and a guy like me in a suit may be asking you some questions, correct?
Correct.
And you can refresh your memory by looking at this report, right?
Correct.
And when you author or when you do reports, certainly you're being truthful and honest, correct?
Correct.
Certainly you're not gonna write something that's misleading or a lie, agree?
Right.
Did you author a report related to this particular incident? Okay, have you had the opportunity to review that report coming in here today?
Yes.
Okay. The evidence that was collected, did that include the hunting?
Pocket knife was, yes, placed in the property.
Okay, and from whom was that recovered, or who did you associate ownership of that knife?
The deceased.
Alex Hackney, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and you did that because that's information that was provided, right?
Correct.
You didn't do that out of some whimsical scratch. And you documented that in your report, agreed?
Correct.
And that was done because that is the truth, agreed?
Correct.
Can you testify here where you collected the knife?
I don't recall if it was the hospital or the residence.
Okay, but at some period of time, it was collected from this person, that's why it's listed in that report, correct?
Correct.
No further questions?
Just real quickly, Officer Koziara, you said when asked specifically where the pocket knife was taken from, you said hospital or residence?
Correct.
And what do you mean by hospital?
When we got to the hospital, and the in-charge nurse turned over the property that was on the deceased, turned it over to us.
And do you recall what those property items were?
I have it listed in my report.
Do you have a copy of your report with you?
I do.
Okay, can I? This is the whole report, right? Mayor Coach, Williams?
Sure.
Let's take a second and look at this. Does that report refresh your recollection as to the items that were collected from the hospital?
It does, and it also reflects what was collected from the house.
Starting with the hospital, was there a pocket knife recovered from the hospital?
There was.
And what else was recovered from the hospital?
multiple items. You want me to go through all of them?
Yeah, I don't think there's too many. This would be like the clothing and personal possessions of Alex Hackney.
Correct. Brahma tan boots, Nike belt, white socks, Hanes underwear, necklace with a cross on it, Ford car keys, pocket knife with a case, American Spirit cigarettes, black iPhone with OtterBox case, wall of identity, ID documents, cash, e-cigarette, a metal circle, black eyeglasses. That concludes it.
So that's what was received from the hospital.
Correct.
Let me get whatever I handed you back, and I'll go further questions for this witness.
Thanks.
Oh, so you can step down, watch your step. I figured it out. Anything else from the defense? Any rebuttal?
No rebuttal, Judge.
Argument, gentlemen? You're all set.
Thanks.
Judge, the information charges first degree murder and felony firearm. Those are the two counts in the information for this court. The evidence that the court has heard, first and foremost from the eyewitness, Nicholas Norowski, says that the incident timeline that we're looking at is 15 to 20 minutes long from when he first hears the bang and goes to the window and sees Alex Hackney physically getting Devin Hackney, his son, out of the vehicle. From that until the time of the shooting is a timeline on direct that he said it was about 15 minutes, and on cross-examination, he agreed with Mr. Muhammad to maybe the number was 20, but 15 to 20 minutes is our total timeline. In the course of this timeline, from when you first have the only incident that's testified to of physical contact between Alex Hackney and his son, following that only example of physical contact, which is at the vehicle where Alex is pulling Devin out, there is arguing, and shortly thereafter, there's a break in the action, which is what exactly, when you're looking at first degree murder, the jury instruction is directing you to. Is there a moment of pause? Is there a separation? Is there a second look? You know, that type of thing. Or is it uninterrupted hot blood? Well, there's a moment of separation where the defendant goes into the house and his father walks down the street to a park where essentially he's cooling off for a couple minutes or maybe working himself back up. And Devin's inside the house, probably procuring the firearm, but there's a separation here. The definition of a separation, one person goes one way, another person goes another way, some time goes by, and then they come back. When they get back together, they're now in the back of the house, but the testimony that this court has heard is they're there for a number of minutes, the argument has re-ensued, and then you hear the testimony that Devin leaves up the driveway with his father behind him. They walk, some period of distance of, 15 or 40 feet or somewhere in the proximity, and nothing is being said at that time period. It's like dead air, like what's going to happen? Is anything going to happen? And so there's that time of consideration at the end, and there's that significant time of consideration when they broke up their argument and went separate ways, that I think should weigh in on this court's decision as to whether or not there's probable cause to support a position of first degree murder. The defendant fired 3 times point blank at the chest of the victim. According to the testimony, he would stand over the victim with a smirk on his face, almost a point of pride or happiness in the shooting of his father. So when you take all of this into account, and I guess I would say this, one thing I think that's important about the 911 call is when you listen to the 911 call, when the sergeant, on the other end asks Devin Hackney, what happened, what happened? He says, he hit me and put his hands on me, getting me out of the car. Which is the exact same thing that Nick Narowski describes as the only physical interaction. So even the defendant in his 911 call doesn't bring up any physical activity, weapon drawn, threats made, anything like that. He says, my dad put his hands on me, got me out of the vehicle, but then 15 to 20 minutes go by where we're even separated. I'm in a house, he's at a park. We get back together, the argument pursues, but then there's a walk down the driveway with nothing further being said. And next thing you know, we have an eyewitness staring at Devin, drawing a gun, pointing at his father's chest and firing 3 shots point blank before standing over him with a grin. The jury instructions in the law on first-degree murder, as this court knows, specifically says that there is no time period required. You just take in all the factors in determining whether or not there's evidence to suggest premeditation and deliberation. I think for all the reasons I've stated and given the standard that this court is operating under, that we do believe that we've established first-degree murder as a bind over out of this district court and being sent to the circuit court.
Mr. Nasser.
Judge, please, court. First and foremost, I have a lot of respect for this prosecutor. He's done a good job. But the facts are the facts, Judge. First degree murder, elements. The defendant intended to kill the victim. 2, the defendant thought out the killing beforehand. 3, the killing was not justified or excused. And 4, the killing was not the result of an sudden impulse. Let's go through this. And prosecutor did question, as did I, Mr. Narowski. In his own testimony, that this incident didn't happen necessarily in a vacuum, but he sees some physical contact between my client and his father. You see an individual that's being yanked out of a car. However, that ends that particular instant. That instance is done. Why? Because we know that Devin goes inside of his house, and we know that Alex Hackney goes for a walk. We know by the reading of the autopsy report that he is grossly intoxicated. The blood alcohol level and the intoxication level shows that. That's unquestionable what his blood alcohol was. To assume that someone was just having a casual conversation or was just reasonably talking with that type of indication is an impossibility. This court has seen too many cases to that effect. But let's talk about this. Nick says, hey, listen, I hear a bang, and I look outside, I see this, I see that Alex is yanking his son out of the car. There's a break, he goes inside the house, he continues doing whatever it is that he's doing. He then hears shouting again, and there's a specificity to the shouting. What was said out of his purview, but loud enough for Mr. Swarovski to hear from within his house. I have nothing in life. Fuck this. I took care of you. I gave you 3 cars. I've given you everything. Your mom has never done anything for you. Devin kept saying, no dad, no dad, no dad. Nicholas then heard Alex saying repeatedly, if you're a big man, do it. If you're a big man, do it. That is not the conversation of a lucid individual having a regular conversation. The people's presumption is that, or their statement that can be inferred in any other way, is just not possible. It's clear what that meant. There is a clear argument, and he is big man to it, and he's approaching Devin. There's no question about it. Then, when you see a purview, when they do come into sight, what you see is Mr. Narowski, he sees my client backing up. Michigan, there's no right to, you don't have to necessarily retreat if you're being attacked. In this instance here, he's retreating. He's trying to extricate himself from this particular situation. What you do see is Alex walking towards him. Then, when they see this going down purportedly, he draws a gun, telling him to stop. But you don't hear that because there's about 5 to 10 seconds that this individual goes from his house and comes outside. There's nothing to be said about what was said. We do know for sure that this man had a pocket knife still on this person when he was at the hospital. Still. An individual that has an arm, and you have the testimony of Mr. Narowski, he's like, hey, listen, we don't carry pocket knives around here. We have it. An individual is shot. That happens. My client then goes inside of the home and calls 911 himself. That's the testimony of Mr. Narowski in and of itself. He calls 911. You hear this over the recording that the fine prosecutor indicated. You have an individual in shock. You have an individual that has shot his father. But you have an individual that's hiding the kite, all respect to the family, both families. This is a loss here, this is not something good. You have an individual that has shown an aggressive tendency of grabbing somebody out of the car. You have an individual that is coming towards him saying, "You're a big man, do it." That is not first degree murder by any degrees. That is a sudden impulse. And that is an element that certainly the people cannot show. In Michigan, Judge, you have the ability to self-defend. And self-defense is noted, one moment. Self-defense is noted in, of course, under 780-929, use of deadly force by an individual. An individual who has not or is not engaged in the commission of a crime at the time he or she uses deadly force may use deadly force against another individual anywhere he or she has the legit right to be with no duty to retreat if either of the following applies. One, the individual honestly and reasonably believes that the use of deadly force is necessary to prevent the imminent death or the imminent bodily harm of himself or herself or to another individual. That's logical. It's not a question of fact. A question of probable cause has been presented here. And if the evidence presented was a reckless discharge causing injury or a reckless discharge killing somebody, I would be in agreement with Mr. Lawrence. But that's not what's happened here. That's not what's happened. What you have is an individual that's approaching and imminent danger and an impulse response. That element the people cannot satisfy by the testimony that has been exhibited here today. Even the testimony to find Shorski. He's saying he didn't see any type of, physicality per se, other than the pulling out of the car. That's it. That doesn't rise to that level. It doesn't. So what happened here today was an impulse response by my client who, unfortunately, in a desire to defend himself from an individual that is exceptionally inebriated, intoxicated, approaching him with a pocket knife, and everyone carries pocket knives in this particular area, would clearly establish an imminent threat. And with that imminent threat, whether it be murder or assault with intent to do great bodily harm less than murder, he has an absolute right to defend himself, and that's what's happened here. So the charge of first-degree murder cannot be satisfied. Judge, it cannot. The elements haven't been met by the testimony that's presented here. And in light of saying, I'm asking them to score for this.
But I think the issue is whether to bind over on first degree or second degree murder. And the testimony, like for example, the pocket knife. There is absolutely no evidence on this record that the pocket knife was out of his pocket, in his hand, flipped, referred to, known by the defendant or any of that. So when you look at the evidence that has been established on this record, Mr. Dorowski, I believe, testified certainly on a probable cause standard to this being a first degree murder that he witnessed. And that's the evidence that we have before this court. We heard from the defendant via his 911 call. When Mr. Muhammad is talking about self-defense and he says it's a danger, he did get it right at the end. You have to be in danger of either death or great bodily harm or sexual assault at the time of this happened. There's no weapons that's testified to in the hands of the victim. The victim is 5'8", 171 pounds and inebriated. There's no evidence of any weapon with him whatsoever. There's no evidence of him charging at, running at, punching, laying his hands on, nothing after they're out of the car, nothing, even from the defendant. And so there is not a record of self-defense in the situation. The only question is, did Devin Hackney do something with premeditation or deliberation, or was this a continuous hot blood situation without a chance at a second look, without a chance at a cool down to think about it? And we believe we've established on this record that this 15 to 20 minute period of time had all of that, and that there is probable cause to find over the defendant for first degree murder.
Thank you. You want another shot at me?
I will.
Go ahead.
Prosecution's done a good job of outlining the specific facts and what may have facilitated. And as it relates to the charging documents as first degree murder, a felony firearm. As it relates to second degree, anything that's not first is second. Certainly, there's nothing on this record in terms of, by the own testimony of Mr. Narosky, that this is purportedly a continuing, happens in a relatively short period of time. There's absolutely nothing about any premeditation or any thought or desire. What you have here at best is some type, and which is one of the elements, and not an impulse, be an impulse, and again, related to the self-defense. That's it.
Thank you both. Well, I'm glad I'm not the trier of fact because there's too many questions that I didn't get any information on. Like the 911 call says he punched me and snatched me up. Mr. Norowski didn't mention any punches. So if there were punches, when did they happen and where did they happen? But you certainly met the probable cause burden to send it downtown for whoever gets the trier of fact job to figure it out. So I'm going to bind over. AOI will be in 2 weeks, 9 a.m. We'll get you notice. Anything else? Bond is continued. Good luck downtown, gentlemen.
Lauren. Mr. Lauren. It's important to be close next month. For Veterans Day.
Oh, Mr. Nassar? It might not be next week because of Veterans Day.
Close next Monday.
Yes.
So I'm not sure if the following week was the next day.
Whatever. Is that something you need to know for the?
For the. Yes.
Why is for that stuff thing, was it Tuesday?
Or
That one. Okay.
What are you gonna do it on, Heather?
Josh, you had the, I think I was the medical examiner's exhibit.
I just gave it to Heather.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. So November 12th, 9 a.m.
November 8th.
NICHLAS. I didn't call this.
Any article of STI?
Yes.
Great.